Unlisted videos. Insider drops. The only way in is through my private SMS list.
They tried to silence him. They erased his name. But he rebuilt from nothing. He fought every algorithm. They tried again and failed. Now he's back, stronger. From blackout to spotlight, he's at the White House, at the top of his game. Franchi lives.
You are about to enter another dimension, the dimension of truth, unfiltered and uncensored. Welcome to the Raw Feed with Gary Franchi.
Welcome to the Raw Feed. I'm Gary Franchi, coming to you live from the heart of America. Unfiltered truth to millions on YouTube. Hit those donation links below. Every contribution powers our gear. Every contribution keeps the party going. Help me help you. Hit those donation links. YouTube channel memberships. Special acknowledgement in the fellowship. Your super chats keep me standing. Your rumble rants fuel every round.
Say hello to super chats.
Spread the intel. Every repost extends our reach.
Super chats fuel this spectacle. Your rumble rants give me strength.
24/7 members only community, behind the scenes discussions.
Connect with fellow patriots.
My mama always said, life is like sharing the truth. Text this stream to your friends.
What if I told you the app is real? Download the Next News Network app. Android users, take the Google Play path. iPhone users, App Store awaits.
The mask is finally coming off, and what we're seeing underneath, it's not pretty. I'm Gary Franchi. This is the Raw Feed, where we dive into tonight's stories. So let's take a moment for this day in history, February 24th, 1868. The House of Representatives voted to impeach President Andrew Johnson, making him the first president to face impeachment proceedings. Johnson, like Trump, was targeted by his political opponents who couldn't accept the will of the American people. History has a way of repeating itself, doesn't it? Well, tonight, before the State of the Union address, we're witnessing something extraordinary. The complete meltdown of the Democrat Party as they face reality of a resurgent America under President Trump's leadership from coast to coast. Liberal politicians are throwing tantrums, making excuses, and abandoning their duties while Trump delivers victory after victory for the American people. Our first story tonight exposes the sheer pettiness of Democrats who are planning to boycott President Trump's State of the Union address. While Trump prepares to celebrate American heroes and showcase our nation's achievements, these elected officials are literally taking their ball and going home like spoiled children. Even liberal commentators are calling them out for their juvenile behavior. You won't believe what Stephen A. Smith had to say about his own party's embarrassing antics. Then we're tracking a development that's happening south of our border. It's a crisis that's putting American lives at risk. Cartel violence has exploded across Mexico following the reported death of a major drug lord, and Americans are trapped in the chaos. But here's the difference. Unlike the previous administration that would have cowered and negotiated with terrorists, Trump, his team, sending a clear message to the criminals: touch one American and you'll face severe consequences. The State Department's working around the clock, and our message to the cartels could not be clearer. Speaking of failed leadership, California's Gavin Newsom making headlines yet again, and not for good reasons. The governor, who thinks he is presidential material, just pardoned a violent criminal while simultaneously releasing a child predator back on the street. But that's not even the most shocking part of tonight's Newsom coverage. Wait till you see the condescending way he spoke to a black audience, literally telling them that he can't read and comparing his SAT scores to theirs. Even Nicki Minaj is calling out his insulting behavior. Our fourth story takes us to New York City, where law and order continues to crumble under liberal leadership. NYPD officers were attacked with snowballs by a mob of anti-police agitators, and the footage is disgusting. These brave men and women, they risk their lives to protect New Yorkers, and this is how they're treated. Meanwhile, the city's leadership remains conspicuously silent about these attacks on law enforcement. The contrast between how New York treats its police and how Trump supports our law enforcement could not be more obvious. And finally, covering a massive legal victory, as Democrats scrambling to shut down the government rather than enforce our immigration laws, a federal appeals court ruled in favor of President Trump's deportation efforts, allowing the IRS to share crucial data with DHS and ICE to speed up the removal of illegal immigrants. This is exactly the kind of common sense coordination that Americans voted for, but Democrats are so desperate to protect illegal alien voters that they're willing to shut down the Department of Homeland Security rather than let ICE do its job. So what ties all these stories together? Well, the complete breakdown of liberal governance at every level. From California to New York to Washington, D.C., Democrats are choosing criminals over citizens, illegal aliens over Americans, and political theater over responsible leadership. Meanwhile, President Trump continues racking up wins in the courts and delivering on his promises to secure our border and restore law and order. Tonight's show is packed with exclusive footage, breaking developments, and the unvarnished truth about what's really happening in this nation. So stay with us for the next couple hours as we give you the raw feed, the news they don't want you to see, delivered straight up with no filter. And if you don't want a filter, simply go to our SMS list. Yes, this is the new thing we just implemented. Text raw feed to 844-840-4963. And that's how you can be the first to know when we go live or when we have exclusive drops just for you. It's an exclusive insiders list, and we want you on it. All right, let's take a look and see if we have any super chats quick here. We got Curio. In 3,024 years, life will either be good or bad. It's 50-50. All right. And James Fay dropping $10. Thank you, James. We're at almost $15 right out the gate. Let's see who's here tonight. We got Southern Gal. We got Keeger. We got James Fay. We've got Dave Wallenberg. Who else is in the house? We've got James Sari and Cindy and Vicky and I. Davis. Deborah Gomez, Matt Grimes, and Jeremy Olson is here too. Jose is here, Bill's Rules, Robert. The gang is filing in. And if you did get that text message, just let me know. I want to make sure the system is firing on all cylinders. All right, we're going to move into our first topic tonight. We got some news to get to because we got the State of the Union coming up tonight. And we certainly cannot compete with President Trump when he is delivering win after win. While Democrats throw tantrums and boycott Trump's State of the Union like petulant children, even their own allies are calling them out for their juvenile behavior. Stephen A. Smith just torched his own party, asking, where are the adults? But here's what they don't want you to know about why they are really running scared. See, it's not just about empty seats at a speech. This exposes the complete meltdown of Democrat leadership. When you can't even show up to do your basic constitutional duty, what does that say about your fitness to govern? You see, these are the same people demanding respect while acting like spoiled toddlers. Meanwhile, Trump, well, he gets to deliver his vision for America to a national audience without their constant interruptions and eye-rolling. They're basically giving him a free campaign commercial while looking petty and weak. Every empty Democrat seat becomes a visual reminder of their refusal to participate in our republic itself. And speaking of people who would refuse to face reality, let me tell you about another group that has been in denial. Yes, something's brewing in America. You can feel it. The financial experts, the political establishment, even some Democrats are finally admitting what we've known all along. The problem? Most Americans never know the full story until after it happens, after the market crash, after the dollar collapse, after your savings become worthless overnight. Here's the brutal truth. You can't protect yourself after the damage is done. You have to be ready now. See, all this uncertainty, the economic chaos we're seeing, see, the warning signs are flashing everywhere, and they may be telling you it's time to diversify into something real, something that's held value for thousands of years. That's why so many Americans are turning to noble gold investments. So don't wait until it's too late. Visit nextnewsgold.com or call the number on your screen. Now back to these Democrat boycotts. Yes, it gets worse for Democrats. While they're staging their little protest, Trump's inviting actual American heroes to attend. Hockey players who stood for the flag, military families, everyday patriots who built this country. The optics couldn't be more perfect. Empty Democrat seats next to real Americans who love their country. It's like Trump planned this whole thing, right? Yeah, you can't hate the media enough. Margot Cleveland says, poor guy has to watch his every word and throw in compliments to women's team, which every sane person would assume that the men's team loves women's team and is proud of them. Listen to this.
Quinn, Jack mentioned the celebration you had with the women's hockey team. They've said they're not going to be able to go to the State of the Union tonight. Will you guys be going?
I don't know how much I'm allowed to say, but yes. And yeah, we're excited to go. I mean, it's something, you don't get to do. I don't know what today is every Tuesday, but yeah, but it's gonna be something for us. But I'm glad you mentioned the women's team again. We're extremely happy for them. Obviously, a lot going on social media right now surrounding our team and their team. But in the last couple of summers, we did a lot of training with them and got to know a lot of those girls really well. Extremely happy to come.
Yeah, clearly, you could see it in his face. He's like terrified of being canceled, right? Quinn Hughes was asked by ABC's George Stephanopoulos about attending tonight's State of the Union. I don't know how much we're allowed to say, right? This sets up for what Trump is doing, connecting directly with American people. Kash Patel put President Trump on the phone and Team USA's locker room so 47 could personally congratulate them. Check this out.
1 minute. 1 minute. And by the way, your goalie played not bad.
How are you? Say hi. How are you? Say hi to him.
How you doing, Don? I have seen hockey goalies have slightly worse games. Unbelievable, and you were all unbelievable. And that team is pretty good you played. I don't know if it's not going to get anytime soon, right? And, I tell you what, I just told my people 2 minutes ago, I didn't know they'd be calling. I said, we're giving the State of the Union speech on Tuesday night. I could send a military plane or something. But if you would like to, it's the coolest night. It's the biggest.
We're in.
Yeah.
Can you pick us up in Miami on Tuesday morning?
Yeah, Tuesday morning.
Close the northern borders.
We'll get cash and we'll get the military to get you guys out.
I'm gonna kill. Let's go.
Boys are going to the State of the Union.
We're going to get the military. We're going to send the military to come get the winners. The locker room celebration proves Trump's strategy is working. Now watch how he's turning this into the ultimate State of the Union power move. President Trump swapping the Democrats for the USA hockey team at the State of the Union might be the greatest deal he's ever made. Yeah, of course, these are the optics we're going to see. Some Democrats there, empty seats, all wearing white in some kind of, protest. But then you're going to have real American heroes there. Trump replacing boycotting Democrats with actual American champions. But now we need to show why Democrats are making this so easy. Before boycotting the State of the Union, Democrats already disgraced it. Remember, they ripped up Trump's speech, refused to stand for Lake and Riley. They wouldn't even stand for a 13-year-old brain cancer survivor. Every State of the Union Democrat sets a new low. Remember, who will ever forget
address to the nation tonight, just short of about an hour and a half, as we watch the interaction here. It comes in the middle of a huge...
Nancy Pelosi disgracing her office. I mean, she disgraces her office every day, but that honestly was like the newest low I've ever seen. So who knows how low they'll stoop tonight. But thankfully, we do have control of the House and the Senate. And we won't have a Nancy Pelosi sitting behind Donald Trump today. And these examples of Democrat disrespect explain exactly why their boycott threat rings hollow. They've already shown their true colors in previous speeches. Nick Shirley is going to be at the State of the Union. Man, I hope he gets an award. I hope President Trump calls him up there and pins a medal on his chest, man. What this kid did is it's sending ripple effects across the entire nation ever since he put a camera on the Leering Center in Minnesota. Now, Representative James Comer, Democrats are boycotting Trump's State of the Union, and I'm glad, he says. The American people don't want to watch shouting and political stunts. Tonight is about the vision for the future. I look forward to continue working with this administration. I guess he was on Maria Bartiromo. Let's see.
But with respect to the Democrats boycotting it, I'm glad. That room gets pretty crowded, and the less Democrats who are there disrupting, showing out, booing, having signs, and making gestures, the better. This is a very serious speech. Our country, as is always the case at the State of the Union, we have a lot of challenges. We also have accomplished a lot, from securing the border to getting inflation under control. These are things President Trump's going to talk about and remind the American people, but he's also going to talk about his vision for the future, and I look forward to hearing that, because I want to work with him to pass his agenda.
Well, you're right. It is a serious speech, but the Democrats aren't taking it seriously. In fact, the rhetoric has continued to ramp up against the president and against Republicans, so much so that we potentially saw a third assassination attempt against President Trump when that 21-year-old showed up at Mar-a-Lago, forcing the agents to respond. Secret Service to respond. What's your take on that? Because, you've got crazy ads. There's one, Juliana Stenton. She put out an ad, a campaign ad, loaded with profanities. F Trump this, F Trump that. It's absolutely disgusting. Is this part of the stoking of people who could be mentally challenged, who are taking this idea and going and moving on it?
Yeah, they are.
Yeah, look, the Democrats have really raised the temperature in America. You've got some liberals that, especially politicians, who are encouraging people to go out and jump in front of cars, to protest, to disrupt, to do anything. They don't really have a policy. They just have Trump derangement syndrome. And remember, the Secret Service isn't funded now because that's the part of the government that's being shut down now. So the president knows this. He's trying to get the Democrats on board, and I think that he'll have a good, positive, unifying speech tonight.
And I'm looking forward to it. I know you are. The Republican response shows the boycott is backfiring. Democrats think they're making a statement, but they're just clearing the room for Trump's agenda. Here's the press secretary. Says guests for tonight's State of the Union include children from the Flotus Fostering the Future Initiative, military heroes, and everyday Americans.
This lady will have two great children with her as part of her Fostering the Future initiative. The president himself has invited some extraordinary guests this year who, again, truly exemplify what it means to be a patriotic American, men and women who have served in our United States military. He'll also be telling the stories of everyday Americans who have directly benefited from his policies. One of them, Megan Hemhauser, who's a waitress from Pennsylvania. She and her husband are directly benefiting from the president's no tax on tips and no tax on overtime policies, which he, of course, signed into law with the help of Republicans last year. She and her family will be taking home more than $5,000 this tax refund season. Another young woman who she and her husband have been struggling with infertility, but she's now saving $3,500 to purchase the drug for infertility to help create a beautiful family for she and her husband through President Trump's initiative of Trump RX. So he'll be sharing these stories, again, of everyday Americans who are directly benefiting from his policies and making a few new policy announcements as well to continue tackling the affordability crisis that Joe Biden created 1 year ago. And the president will be talking about the positive metrics we have seen and moving forward towards making life, again, more affordable and prosperous for all Americans.
Let's go, baby. Let's go. And if you haven't done so yet, text raw feed to 844-840-4963. Get on the insiders list, and you'll be the first to know when we go live and when we drop special unlisted videos just for you. Don't rely on YouTube notifications, okay? Trust me. Let's keep going here. This is while Republicans are celebrating the boycott. Let's see exactly who Trump is inviting to fill the empty seats. A massive list of congressional Democrats launch a boycott of the State of the Union, including Pramila Jayapal and Adam Schiff. That's fine with me. They can all go to hell anyway.
100%, and that's exactly what President Trump can do, because this is the message that Republicans are going to take out to the midterms. The notes in which he echoes tonight will be exactly what you hear Republicans say on the stump. And you keep in mind, this is a president that's going to be out there. It's almost as if he was running for election. They're going to have him on the campaign trail. I'm expecting the president to deliver in a way in which the American people expect him to, presidentially, and tell them what's in it for them. What has he done over the course of a year? And I can tell you, he's accomplished a great deal cleaning up the mess of Joe Biden's presidency, but there's much more to be done.
Yeah, we're not done yet. We got a couple more years ahead of us to celebrate. And Maxine Waters, yeah. James Brown called. I'm not going to Trump's State of the Union address. He doesn't deserve to be in my presence. And Adam Schiff says, I won't attend the State of the Union. This isn't business as usual. Here's what I'll be doing instead. What, making up more lies?
Donald Trump is violating the law and Constitution. He is ignoring court orders. He has weaponized the Justice Department to go after his enemies. He is letting loose ICE troops in our streets that are getting people killed. I will not be attending the State of the Union. I've never missed one. I have always gone both to inaugurations and
Dude,
to
just eat a fat one, bro. You need to just report to prison. That's exact. I don't even care what you're doing. Stephen A. Smith, cooking Democrats planning to boycott the State of the Union.
The President of the United States is going to give his State of the Union address, and the Democrats got other plans. So some are talking about walking out in the middle of his speech. Others are talking about boycotting it altogether and essentially finding something else to do. I'm here to tell you that neither is acceptable. Neither should be acceptable. At some point in time, ladies and gentlemen, there's got to be an adult in the room.
Yeah.
If you're going to act as juvenile, as petulant, as petty, as you accuse the President of the United States to be, how are you ever going to hold a high moral ground, at least high enough to judge him accordingly? If people on the right can turn and look at you and say, you're no better, you act no better, where's it going to get you? See, these are the kind of things that end up getting people like myself and others in the news, because we're talking about getting things done. said repeatedly, and I'll state it again, and I'll make news by saying it again. I have no desire to be an elected official. I've never entertained politics in my life. I'm certainly not an aficionado on the issues. Got a long way to go to learn all the things that go on. But you know what I have? I have common sense. I have decency. I have respect for the office even when or if I didn't respect the individual. Because I would understand it as a representative, whether it be that as a representative or a senator in the United States of America, guess what? I have a constituency to answer to. And I have people who need me, who I represent. And whether I like it or not, this individual is in office until 2028. And I got to find a way to do business with him in order to get something done. You see, when you go to the American people and you ask the American people, yo, stand up, step up and handle your business. Stop bitching and screaming all the time. When you got problems at the job, when you got bills to pay, when you got a family to take care of, find a way to work around it and handle your business. How come that can't apply to elected officials? Why do they get away with that? Why do they get to circumvent those rules and regulations? Why do they get to circumvent the need and the insistence of mere decorum? This is the kind of stuff that ticks me off.
So here's the beautiful irony they missed. By boycotting, Democrats just handed Trump the perfect metaphor for his entire presidency. On one side, you have absent Democrats who won't even show up. On the other side, Trump's surrounded by American heroes and patriots. They literally created the visual representation of their own irrelevance. This boycott perfectly captures everything wrong with today's Democrat Party. They'd rather throw tantrums than participate in our republic. They'd rather virtue signal to their base than actually govern. Meanwhile, Trump gets primetime television to showcase his achievements with a room full of patriots, instead of obstructionist Democrats trying to steal his thunder. Honestly, this might be the best thing that could have happened for Trump's speech. Sometimes your enemies defeat themselves, and that's exactly what we're watching here. So let me ask you this. Do you think these Democrat boycotts actually helped Trump more than they hurt him? Let me know in the comments, and while you're down there, check out the Next News merch shop for gear that shows you actually support America, unlike these boycotting Democrats. All right, we are out the gate here. Any more super chats to acknowledge? Not at the moment. What are you guys saying in the chat? The ICE people are going to go. The ICE troops, like what I voted for ICE troops. ICE troops, seals on skis, I suppose. Maybe not. 8 more minutes. Thank you, gentlemen. Keeger 430 is where I'm on YouTube. Hey, did Biden ever get off his keister and build anything back better? No, just Hunter's bank accounts. That's about it, my friends. That's about all he built back better. Moving into our next topic of the evening. Before the great State of the Union tonight, let's dive in. El Mencho is dead, and Mexico just became a war zone. The Jalisco New Generation cartel leader's elimination has triggered massive retaliation across Mexico, with 25 National Guard troops already killed and Americans frantically calling State Department hotlines begging for help to escape. But here's what the mainstream media won't tell you about Trump's bold response. You see, this is not just another foreign crisis. This directly affects every American family. We have thousands of Americans living, working, and vacationing in Mexico. Right now, they're essentially trapped as cartels battle for control of El Mencho's territory. 20% of Mexico is under cartel control, with 120,000 people disappear, 20,000 murders annually. The economic implications are staggering. Our southern border trade routes are compromised. Drug trafficking will intensify during this power vacuum, and Mexico's stability directly impacts American jobs and security. Now, politically, this is Trump's first major test of his promise to crush the cartels. The world is watching to see if America will finally take decisive action against these narco-terrorists. And you know what? This crisis in Mexico reminds me of something deeply personal. You see, for years, my wife battled chronic pain and anxiety from her diagnosis, endless doctor's visits, treatments that didn't help. Watching her struggle daily, it It broke my heart. The stress of situations like Americans trapped abroad would have sent her into panic attacks. Then Jonathan Otto introduced red light therapy and everything changed. Her pain vanished, anxiety lifted, she became herself again, thank God. You see, red light therapy uses specific wavelengths to reduce inflammation, boost cellular healing, and calm your nervous system naturally. No pharmaceuticals, no side effects, just real healing. During uncertain times like these cartel conflicts, we need our bodies functioning optimally. Red light therapy gives you that edge, better sleep, reduced stress, faster recovery. And just like Trump is bringing real solutions to Mexico, red light therapy brings real healing to your body. Go to myredlight.com. There's some links down below and a special promo code just for you to take advantage of deep discounts for Next News viewers. Now here's the bombshell that the establishment doesn't want you to know. The entire operation was coordinated with Trump's team. The press secretary confirming that the successful elimination of El Mencho would not have happened without President Trump's leadership. Trump made targeting cartels a day one priority, and he's delivering results that previous administrations could never achieve. An internet star trapped in Mexico was told to stop bringing negativity to social media as she detailed worsening conditions at her hotel amid the cartel violence. Really? You see how they're trying to censor the truth that's coming out? Here's some drone video you can see of the destruction, the car fires. This is from the Daily Mail. Sky Project's drones. Unbelievable video. This is what's happening there on the ground in Mexico, as Americans are trapped. They can't get to the airports, they can't escape, essentially being held hostage by the cartels. Now, this is the internet star, apparently, trapped in Mexico, told to stop complaining by followers. The influencer's story shows the human face of the crisis, but it's only the tip of the iceberg. Republican Senator Bernie Moreno publicly called on the Mexican government to request U.S. military assistance after the killing of the cartel leader.
Republican Senator Bernie Moreno urges Mexico to seek U.S. military backup. After El Mencho's death, cartels are a clear and present danger. Republican Senator Bernie Moreno publicly called on the Mexican government to request U.S. military assistance after the killing of cartel leader Nemesio Oseguera Cervantes, known as El Mencho. Moreno said, "The Mexican government has to make the right decision for its people and seek U.S. military backup to end the threat of narco-terrorists before it's too late." He added that the drug cartels are a clear and present danger to the U.S. and must be exterminated. His message followed video showing panic at Guadalajara's airport. Authorities reported burning vehicles, blocked highways, and fires set at...
And you saw some of the video from the drone. The call for military intervention shows how serious this has become. Nonprofit helps rescue Americans stranded in Mexico. Brian Stern, the founder of Gray Bull Rescues, helping rescue U.S. citizens who are stranded amid unrest following the killing of the cartel leader.
Bring in Brian Stern. He's the chairman and founder of Gray Bull Rescue. That's a nonprofit, veteran-led rescue operation, and he's helping rescue stranded Americans who are there in Mexico. Brian, thank you for joining me early this morning.
Thanks for having us. Appreciate it.
So your organization is specially trained, for moments like this to enter high-risk, dangerous regions and help get Americans back home. Could you first off just, paint the picture of how tense things are on the ground?
Yeah, so Gray Bull Rescue is a veteran-led, donor-funded international rescue organization. We've conducted 801 missions in the last 4.5 years as a team. We've worked Ukraine, Afghanistan, Gaza, all the bad spots. Here in PV in Puerto Vallarta, the violence is very real. The cartels. It's interesting to understand that the cartels are extremely capable. They may not have a navy, but on the ground, they're very organized, very well resourced, very capable. They have excellent intelligence. They are not a bunch of guys with face tattoos and machine guns. Mm-hmm. These guys are armored personnel carriers, rocket propelled grenades, missiles. They're very capable. So the situation is is tense because this is it's a very conventional kind of a war, even though it's against a criminal syndicate like the cartels.
And when you talk about how capable they are, I mean, so what do your tactics look like when you go in to rescue these Americans? How are you going in and how are you getting them out?
We like to use we have a ground piece, an air piece. We also have a maritime piece if we need as a contingency, at least for this side of Mexico. We employ helicopters, we employ fixed wing aircraft, we employ up armored vehicles, we employ all kinds of other tactics designed to evade conflict. We're not here to fight and win any war. We're not, the fight between the cartels and the army is not our fight. Our job is to rescue Americans that are trapped and cut off where the air carriers have canceled flights, where the streets are dangerous. We'll fly helicopters in, pick people up, and bring them to where they need to be, either to get up by Comair to the airport, which is opening up, thankfully, or on charter air, which we coordinate and arrange.
Yeah. Wow. Talk to me about.
So you've got basically mercenaries having to go in to save people. Well, rescue teams mobilized. The State Department's being overwhelmed by desperate Americans calling for help. Jim Mattis posts, crisis hotline flooded. State Department receives hundreds of calls from Americans stranded in Mexico after cartel violence erupts following the killing. Hundreds of crisis calls forcing emergency rescue missions into cartel territory. Scope absolutely massive. Freedom's Phoenix rescue team heading to Mexico to free American tourists trapped amid cartel violence. Take a look at that. From Freedom's Phoenix, our friends over there in Arizona. Private rescue teams are racing against time as the State Department scrambles to respond. The U.S. State Department has received hundreds of calls. This is from Idea TV following the death of El Mencho. Hundreds of calls. The advisory comes as violence reaches deadly new levels for Mexican security forces. The killing of CISEN leader El Mencho sparked violent retaliation in Mexico, causing 25 National Guard deaths. The United States may adopt aggressive strategies with Mexico to combat the drug trafficking amid the escalating cartel violence. 25 Mexican National Guardmen now dead. That's the brutality on the ground. Around 20% of the Mexican territory is under organized crime control. 120,000 disappeared, 20,000 murders every year, and billions of dollars of activity. Here's the breakdown of the cartel activity in 2024, all the different areas that each cartel controls. I mean, Mexico's basically a narco state to begin with, but the statistics set the stage for the White House strongest warning yet from the press secretary.
Secretary Rubio and the State Department are absolutely on it. We hear from Americans directly who are in Mexico because the State Department immediately set up 24/7 phone lines, and they're taking hundreds of calls a day, providing Americans on the ground with travel support and advice. The State Department also has issued new travel advisories, and they'll continue to update those as the situation progresses. So we encourage all Americans in Mexico to, of course, adhere to the guidance provided by the State Department. Right now, we are unaware of any reports of any Americans being hurt, kidnapped, or killed, and the Mexican drug cartels know not to lay a finger on a single American, or they will pay severe consequences under this president. And they already are. This operation, which was carried out successfully by the Mexican authorities, was, of course, supported by the United States, would not have happened without the leadership of President Trump. He has made it a day one priority to target and go after these vicious drug cartels that have shipped deadly poison to our country for far too long. He signed an executive order to rightfully designate them as foreign terrorist organizations. We've seen the president take unilateral lethal action against drug boats sailing through the Caribbean. And now, of course, we are coordinating and cooperating and pushing the Mexican government to do more to end the scourge of deadly drugs coming through our United States southern border, which, of course, is now secure thanks to President Trump as well.
And of course, the Mexican government, they're all in the take too. You see, here's the kicker. Trump's spokesperson, you just saw her there, delivering a chilling warning that should make every cartel leader very nervous. Mexican drug cartels know not to lay a finger on a single American or they will pay severe consequences under President Trump. This is not Biden's weak diplomacy. This is strength through decisive action, and the cartels know that Trump means business. The mainstream media will try to spin this as chaos, but this is exactly what draining the swamp looks like on an international level. Trump promised to destroy the cartels, and El Mencho's elimination proves he's keeping that promise. While Americans are safely evacuating thanks to State Department coordination, and of course the mercenaries on the ground, Mexico's criminal empire is crumbling under Trump's pressure. This is what happens when America has a president who actually fights for our citizens instead of appeasing our enemies. The cartels, they had free reign under previous administrations. Those days are over. So do you believe Trump's tough stance on cartels will finally secure our southern border? And don't forget to check out the Next News merch shop to show your support for real America First reporting. Okay, checking in on our super chats real quick here. Nothing to speak of yet. What are you guys talking about? What's up, East Tennessee? Let's see. That's funny. They can't get across the border. What's up, Tennessee in the house? I love Tennessee. I love Tennessee. One of my favorite states of the union. Did we find out what happened to the pilots who are being held at prison? I need to reach back out and find out what the latest is. I've been out of town. And then, of course, when you have this action taking place with all the State Department activity, it's going to absorb a lot of the resources that are required to get those pilots out. So I haven't heard anything from the family as of yet. So we're going to continue to keep a close eye on that. I'll reach out and find out if there's any news, and I'll let you guys know. Okay, let's get to our third topic of the evening before the big State of the Union address tonight. Got to talk about what's happening. Yeah, did you hear about what Gavin Newsom did? Unreal. This guy's a joke. Hello from the Smokies. I love the Smokies. I love Gatlinburg, Tennessee, and Pigeon Forge, Knoxville. Yeah, those are my places I like there. I mean, you can't forget Memphis, though. I mean, come on. All right. Gavin Newsom just pardoned an illegal immigrant convicted of attempted murder to shield him from deportation. But that's not even the worst part. Wait to hear what he told a black audience about his intelligence level and why he thinks that makes him relatable. You see, this isn't just about one corrupt governor's bad decisions. This is about the complete breakdown of law and order in Democrat-controlled states. When governors pardon violent criminals to prevent deportations, they're essentially declaring war on American citizens. When they pander to minority communities by claiming they're stupid too, they're revealing their true racist beliefs about voters. Newsom's actions show us exactly what Democrats think of both public safety and minority intelligence. They believe criminals deserve protection over citizens, and they believe telling black Americans, "I'm dumb like you," counts as connection. This is the future of America if we don't stop this madness. And speaking of things that are happening behind the scenes while politicians distract us, some breaking news that is breaking quietly. Most people missed it completely. But we're here to tell you. While headlines focused on Newsom's latest disasters, the Trump administration just released a document that could fundamentally reshape America's mining sector forever. Now, this is real, and I've actually been on the ground at the Vizsla Copper location in Canada. It is absolutely fascinating, the work they're doing there. It's real, my friends. It's unfolding right now under Executive Order 14241. This goes far beyond typical policy changes. We're talking about potential massive shifts in how America sources critical minerals. Smart investors are paying very close attention to companies like Vizsla Copper, as am I. They're positioned in Canada's Golden Triangle region. I was there, boots on the ground. Now, while politicians play games, real economic transformation is happening. The mining sector could see unprecedented opportunities as America prioritizes domestic resource security. So don't let political theater distract you from real wealth-building opportunities. Visit the link that is down below for your exclusive briefing to learn how this executive order could impact your financial future. Because while Newsom pardons criminals, smart money follows real policy changes. But here's what makes Newsom's pandering even more insulting. He's not actually stupid. He went to Santa Clara University and comes from extreme wealth. This man is literally pretending to be intellectually disabled to connect with black voters. Meanwhile, he's simultaneously releasing violent criminals back onto the streets of communities that he claims to care about. Robbie Starbuck posted this yesterday. A child, you can see it, I won't even read that word, who was supposed to be jailed for life, got released due to Gavin Newsom signing a law. He writes, I personally know a mom who had her daughter taken in California while he was governor for refusing to transition her daughter. And then the daughter did something you can see on the screen there I can't even say. What is Gavin Newsom saying now?
No doubt that the Democratic Party needs to be, dare I say, more culturally normal. I believe that. Less prone to spending disproportionate amount of time on pronouns, identity, politics. More focused on tabletop issues, things that really matter, the stacking of stress in terms of electricity bills and child care costs and health care and obviously housing costs, and how easily we get trapped in that, how I've fallen prey to that. I mean, here I was, way out front on marriage equality. So I understand this from both on the receiving end of this.
Oh
and
my God. The guy is the slickest, dirtiest politician I've ever seen. I mean, just his facial expressions, his hand gestures. Everything about the guy is just sick. Gavin Newsom says the Democrat Party needs to be more culturally normal and focus on less things like pronouns. Yeah, sure. This sets up Newsom's policies hurting kids while Democrats scramble to defend him. Which brings us to our next tweet. Illinois Democrat Representative Jonathan Jackson defending Gavin Newsom. Republican blacks are like out of their mind. They're insane. What?
This is like a hair trigger moment that's absolutely ridiculous. I think it's blown way out of proportion. If they want to talk about race and vulnerability, talk about.
But would you say that if it was a Republican?
Jobs. Yeah, I mean, well, Republican blacks are like out of their mind. They're insane in so many levels, and I would say that absolutely. Anytime you have your civil rights being attacked, your voting rights of 40,000 black women that have lost their jobs to disrespect to the black community, and all these top-tier government officials, it's been a concerted attack on the African-American community.
They're insane, huh? Yeah. Insanity is doing the same thing over and over again and expecting different results. And that's exactly what these guys are doing. This defensive reaction from Illinois shows Democrats are rattled, but watch how Newsom himself goes on the offensive instead of addressing the child safety crisis. Watch this.
You punch these guys, they're paper tigers. Their weakness masquerading as strength. That's Donald Trump. I believe it. I appreciate that. It's true.
Is that
breaking things is not strength.
Oh, boy.
Tearing things down, that's not strength. That Rayburn building, I don't know if anyone, Sam Rayburn had a great quote. He said, any, forgive the language, jackass can tear down a barn, but it takes a skilled carpenter to build one.
What does that mean?
Tearing things down is not strength. Trump is not a builder. He's a jackass.
Yeah. Maybe you should check into the Trump organization's buildings. Gavin? Newsom's attack is classic deflection, calling Trump weak, while his own policies release dangerous criminals. Speaking of which, Sacramento Sheriff slamming Gavin Newsom's elderly parole program, which is allowing David Funston, a serial child, you see the word there on the screen, go free. David used candy and toys to do things with children as young as 4. A judge called him the monster that parents fear most. Sacramento Sheriff slamming Gavin Newsom.
I got a phone call from a retired sheriff sergeant who used to work child abuse back in 1995 about this case, David Allen Funston, He helped investigate it. He was angry because he read he was being released. I had no idea about it. Read the LA Times article.
Brian, I'm not hearing anything.
They've spoken and got the wheels rolling. So yesterday they printed out probably thousands of pages of arrest reports on Mr. Funson, of the cases he did. And take us back to 1995. He was out preying on children in the Sacramento area. We're talking children as young as 3 to the age of 7, molesting them. One young girl in North Highlands kidnapped her, molested her very viciously, drove her to Placerville, and kicked her out of the car after punching her. Think about that. He was caught eventually through the hard work of the sheriff's office, did a great job investigating it. Thousands of pages of interviews of children. And one thing about these kids, they were resilient. They did an amazing job IDing him. And back then, as a parent or anyone around kids, hey, don't take candy from strangers. Don't follow anyone. Don't get in someone's car. This is what he did. Lured them with candy, Barbie dolls, toys, and abused these kids horrifically. Horrifically. He was given 3 consecutive terms, 20-year terms. He should have been in prison the rest of his life. Unfortunately, in 2020, a bill was passed.
I couldn't hear anything. I guess it was only on the right channel. Brian, maybe you can make an adjustment there so that everything on this track goes out mono. That'd be helpful. So the Sacramento sheriff gives us the horrifying details that prove this isn't politics. It's about real predators walking free, and the media is taking notice. Jesse Waters.
Got a new pitch. I'm dumb.
I'm not trying to impress you. I'm just trying to impress upon you. I'm like you. I'm no better than you. You know, I'm a 960 SAT guy. And, you know, and I'm not trying to offend anyone, you know, trying to act all there if you got 940. But literally a 960 SAT guy.
I'm just as stupid as you are. Kind of funny way to run for president. Personally, I want a president with good test scores, but that's just me. Remember, Biden was last in his class, and we remember what happened. Then knee pads told the crowd he couldn't read.
You've never seen me read a speech because I cannot read a speech. This may be the wrong business to be in.
Can't read? Well, then what is he doing here? Gavin says he has dyslexia, so a reporter asked if he was ever diagnosed, and Gavin's team told her to F off. So according to Gavin, he has a learning disability, bombed his SATs, and struggles to read. That's obviously a pretty big obstacle he's overcome, and because now he's governor of California, and we respect that, but he's also a terrible governor. And he also wants you to know, besides dyslexia, he overcame poverty.
My mom was always working, so, I'm cooking, literally lived on Stouffer's lasagna, macaroni and cheese. I got finished, 2 pots of macaroni and cheese and got bored.
Black Americans didn't really love what Gavin was saying down in Atlanta. There were a lot of whites in the crowd, but the man's been pandering hard. This was the second stop on his little book tour. And let's just say it's not off to a great start. Kind of like AOC's European tour. She's still crashing out after freezing up like Joe.
If you think that I don't understand foreign policy because out of hours of discourse about international affairs, I pause to think about one of the most sensitive geopolitical issues that currently exist on Earth, I'm afraid the issue's not my understanding, but rather the problem is perhaps you've gotten adjusted to a president that never thinks before he speaks.
Oh, just shut
Who's that
up.
snoring in the...
Shut up. Jesse Waters picking up on the story shows us breaking into the mainstream, but here's even bigger scandal that's brewing. Issuing a pardon, Gavin Newsom, to Sambun Faimani, erasing his 1997 conviction on 10 counts of premeditated attempted murder and effectively shielding him from being deported by U.S. Immigration and Customs Enforcement. Newsom's latest pardon shields attempted murderer convict from ICE deportation. 10 counts of premeditated attempted murder. Washington Times reveals Newsom isn't just releasing criminals, he's actively pardoning them to block deportations. This story gets even more explosive. Newsom pardons criminal illegal migrant convicted for attempted murder. New York Post headline right there, confirming the pardon story is exploding nationally. But wait till you see who else is on the Newsom's judgment list. His way of bonding with black people is to tell them how stupid he is and he can't read. This means my first read on him was correct. He's been handed so many things, put in high positions he never earned or deserved.
I'm not trying to impress you. I'm just trying to impress upon you. I'm like you. I'm no better than you.
Playing this again without Jesse Waters interrupting, it puts it in much greater context. So I'm going to roll it back. You'll hear it. I mean, he literally thinks that black people can't read. They can't score high on these tests.
I'm not trying to impress you. I'm just trying to impress upon you. I'm like you. I'm no better than you. I'm a 960 SAT guy. and I'm not trying to offend anyone, trying to act all there if you got 940. But literally a 960 SAT guy. I cannot, you've never seen me read a speech because I cannot read a speech. Maybe the wrong business to be in.
I still can't believe he said that. I can't read. I'm just like you. Yeah, that's Gavin Newsom for you. And the mask is completely off now. Newsom thinks minority voters are stupid enough to fall for his fake Solidarity Act while he endangers their communities with criminal pardons. This is Democrat governance in 2026. Racist pandering combined with pro-criminal policies to destroy American neighborhoods. Newsom's California is what happens when virtue signaling meets criminal coddling. Will pardon attempted murderers to score political points while telling black Americans he's just as dumb as he thinks they are. This is the Democrat Party's real agenda: protect criminals, pander with racism, and destroy public safety. Trump would never insult Americans this way while simultaneously endangering them. The contrast could not be clearer between America First leadership and this woke disaster. So do you think Newsom's racist pandering while pardoning violent criminals disqualifies him from any future presidential run? Let me know in the comments. Check out the Next News merch shop for gear that triggers liberals like Newsom. Wow. I think I saw another super chat come through. When I saw that clip for the first time, I'm like, did he really just say that? He's like, I can't read like you. I'm just as dumb as you are. Chris Orr, $10. Thank you, President Trump. MAGA. Hi from Denison, Texas. What's up, Texas? Good to see Texas in the house. We gotta go jump. We're gonna go from California to New York now. It's like we're going from one coast to the next, because it's like that's where it seems like most of the insanity lies. I mean, I can't forget my own state here of Illinois. I've got my own problems to deal with, but definitely looking forward to the State of the Union tonight. Are you? All right. New York Police Department officers were brutally attacked with ice-hard snowballs in Washington Square Park while New Yorkers cheered and filmed, women officers included. But here's what's really sick. The mayor's gone completely silent while his own residents terrorized law enforcement. Starting salary for these brave men and women, $60,000 a year to be treated like this. Now, it's not just about snowballs, my friends. This is about the complete breakdown of respect for law and order in America's biggest city. When citizens feel emboldened to attack police officers while bystanders cheer, we're witnessing the collapse of civil society. Now, these officers, they barely make enough to survive in New York City, yet they suit up every day knowing they'll face hatred, violence, and now ice projectiles hurled by cowards. Meanwhile, the mayor, who's supposed to have their backs, nowhere to be found. This emboldens even more attacks, more disrespect, and even more chaos, and it's spreading to cities across America. And speaking of things that are happening while nobody's watching, some breaking news that is breaking quietly, but I'm making a lot of noise about it. If you saw any of the footage from my trip to Canada last week, you see most people missed it. While headlines were focusing on the snowball attacks, the Trump administration just released a document that could fundamentally reshape the entire United States mining sector. Now it's real. I was there, boots on the ground. I saw it coming out of the ground. It's unfolding right now under Executive Order 14241. And this goes far beyond typical mining operations. We're talking about a complete transformation of how America sources critical minerals. Now, Vizsla Copper, they are positioned perfectly for this moment. I saw it with my own eyes, and it was amazing. Go back and check out the footage. Check out the footage that we shot. Now, their Panuco project in Mexico, it's not just another copper play. It's strategic positioning for America's resource independence. So while everyone's watching political theater, smart money is moving into companies like Vizsla Copper. The executive order creates unprecedented opportunities for North American mining partnerships. Now, this is not speculation anymore. It's actually happening. The question is whether you're paying attention to what really matters. Check out the exclusive briefing. You'll find it linked down below. It's been prepared just for you, and we thank Vizsla Copper for supporting this show. Now back to the real crisis that's unfolding in our streets. Yes, it gets worse. Multiple videos show officers actually had to retreat from the park because of the intensity of the ICE bombardment. Think about that. American police officers forced to flee from their own citizens throwing frozen projectiles. Republican city council members, they're now demanding answers from the missing mayor. Where is he? Why the silence? You see, this is exactly how cities fall. Dennis Michael Lynch, NYPD, all cops should walk off the job or strike. Show Mandami and the USA that you stand with your brothers who got pelted with snowballs. Truth is, you're only policing yourselves under Mandami.
If you don't like profanity, you should scroll past this video. Okay. Otherwise, you should share it. In New York City yesterday, there's a video captured of punks basically hitting cops in the face and the head with snowballs, one after the next. They even go as far as running up to the cops with chunks of snow and smashing it in the back of their head and the side of their face. And these cops do nothing. They say nothing. I guess they feel as if they can't. The mayor doesn't have their back. They'll be the ones who wind up getting sued, or they'll be the ones who wind up getting their ass kicked in a gang fight, and nothing is done. First of all, my entire family is cops, going back all the way to my grandfather. If this would have happened decades ago, when they were all cops, I can tell you right now, all the cops would have walked off the job today by now, if the cops saw that the mayor was doing nothing to protect them, especially in this sort of video that we just see there. That's number one. So I say to the cops, I have the utmost respect for you all time. I donate to cops. I always am of the blue. But this is one of those times I'm saying, hey man, you are just, you're burying more than your pride. You're taking your dignity and you're pissing on your own dignity. Walk off that fucking job. Let New York City just watch what it's like without having cops. Move to Florida. We need cops. We'll take you. Go to other states. You don't need to do this. Have a look.
Walking off the job, the call for police strike sets the stage. Now let's see how elected officials are responding. Like many others, my colleagues in the Republican delegation, New York City Council, they were sickened and infuriated watching a video of New York Police Department officers being ambushed in Washington Square Park yesterday, while many bystanders watched in apparent amusement and others made videos. Here is the letter, the statement from the New York City Council to the mayor, press release on an attack on New York City police officers. Now, the Republican delegation outrage is building momentum. Now they're focusing on the crowd reaction. Here it is, New York police leaving the park because of the amount of snow being thrown at them.
Yo, they violent! Come on, yo.
It's gonna be inside the playground. I ain't do nothing. Come on. Don't touch me. I'll smack the shit out. Back out. Watch out, please. 6 9. Get out of here, scatterbutt! Get out of here, scatterbutt! You can't do that, bro.
This goes on for quite some time. The bigger question about leadership and the failure. Commie Mayor Zoran Mandami has New Yorkers furious, staying completely silent after his own residents harassed and attacked New York police officers during a blizzard.
All right, good evening. I'm Sweeney. I'm coming live from Tribeca, a bit of an unorthodox late night video for me, but let's sit back and try to stop the blood from boiling through my skin as we watch this video together. All right, let me start off the threshold by saying this. I consider myself extremely fortunate to have done the travel that I have done. I have visited countless countries. I've spent time in countless magnificent cities. I have been lucky to meet the spectrum of humanity across every racial, ethnic, and traditional background. But even I have a hard time telling whether or not someone is a good person right off the cuff when I first meet them. But if I've ever seen a litmus test before, it's whether or not you can watch a video like that and think that the people who are throwing those balls of ice at NYPD, women included among them, are not scumbags, okay? The starting salary for NYPD is something like $60,000 a year. And for what? To be demonized, to be denigrated, to be spit on in the subways, to be treated like that by the same people who, when they get home, if they had an issue that needed the police, would call those same police that they just hocked a loogie on and wait for them to arrive to save them 10 minutes later. And this video has already gone mega viral, and everyone on the internet, these leftists, are coming out of the woodwork, celebrating and laughing at this. And the number one person with a big enough platform and big enough influence in the city of New York to come out and call this bullshit out for what it is Mayor Zoran Mandani. And this guy is more quiet than a fucking field mouse. Shame on you, Zoran. Stick up for your police officers and call these scumbags out for what they are.
And that's exactly what we're doing. Zoran Mandami is garbage. Direct attack on Mandami. His silence creates a perfect setup. Now we need to see the incident. Here's another angle.
okay? Let's do it.
The raw emotion from law enforcement gives us the human element, but it's about to get more serious when we see the injury reports. Several New York City police officers were injured after a crowd pelted them with snowballs, an incident sparking outrage from law enforcement officials and elected leaders across the state. Nearly 24 hours later, New York City Mayor Mondami remains unable to fully condemn the attack on the New York police officers who were pelted with snowballs to the face and head by grown men calling them kids while they worked in brutal weather to protect the city and its residents.
Nah, they violating, bro. Nah,
So at the bottom of your screen, you can see, let's see if we can get the full tweet there. He says, I've seen the videos of kids throwing snowballs at New York police officers in Washington Square Park. Officers, like all city workers, have been out in a historic blizzard keeping New Yorkers safe and cars moving. Treat them with respect. If anyone's catching a snowball, it's me. Really? You're going to make a joke out of this? So here's the truth they don't want you to see. It's not about the snowballs. It's about testing boundaries. You're seeing how far they can push before someone pushes back. Every silent mayor, every laughing bystander, every thrown ice ball is another step towards complete lawlessness, and it's working perfectly. The thin blue line is getting thinner every single day, and mayors like Mondami, they're holding the scissors. These officers deserve better than $60,000 to be human targets. They deserve leadership that stands behind them, not hides them, hides from tough conversations and makes jokes. They deserve a city that respects the badge, not one that celebrates attacks on it. The question is simple. Do you stand with the officers who risk everything to keep us safe, or do you stand with the ice throwers and their silent enablers? Check out the Next News merch shop to show where you stand. All right, looks like we had a super chat come through from Irving. What's up, Irving? $25. Thank you, sir. Where do we stand at this point with our super chats? We're at $49.99. Moving into our fifth topic of the evening. We got to get this show on the road because we got a big State of the Union address tonight. And I'm going to be attending it with some, not attending the State of the Union, but I will be attending a watch party with some of my fellow brothers and sisters in arms in the Illinois Republican Party. Looking forward to that. So hopefully, maybe you guys will be out there. Maybe you'll see me. But we got to get down to the next topic here as Brian gets things organized. Some big stuff happening with this DHS shutdown as Democrats continue to block it. Well, Democrats are literally shutting down the Department of Homeland Security over ICE funding. A federal appeals court just handed Trump the biggest deportation victory yet. The D.C. Circuit ruled that the IRS can now share tax data directly with ICE and DHS to speed up deportations. Democrats are blocking border security funding while the courts are fast-tracking Trump's deportation machine, and it's backfiring spectacularly. Now, this changes everything about how deportations work in America. If you're here illegally and you've actually filed taxes using a fake social security number or an ITIN, that information can now be shared directly with ICE. No more bureaucratic delays, no more interagency red tape. Your tax records become deportation evidence, and socially this creates a very chilling effect where illegal immigrants may stop filing taxes entirely, which ironically makes them easier to identify. And politically, Democrats are in an impossible position. They're shutting down Homeland Security while Trump racks up legal victories. They make deportation faster and even more efficient. And if you haven't done so yet, text raw feed to 844-840-4963 so you can be on our exclusive insider list. But first, we have to talk about something that is happening behind the scenes that connects directly to this DHS shutdown. Some breaking news tonight. While Wall Street fixates on gold and silver and other headline commodities, there is a strategic metal quietly driving defense policy, military procurement, and geopolitical planning behind the scenes. It's not flashy, and most investors never even talk about it. I'm talking about titanium. That's what governments and defense contractors are stockpiling aggressively. When Congress fights over DHS funding, they're really fighting over contracts worth billions of dollars that depend on this critical resource, and smart investors are positioning right now before the mainstream catches on. This metal powers everything from border surveillance systems to military communications. So while Democrats play shutdown games, defense spending just keeps flowing to companies that control this supply chain. And the writing's on the wall for anyone who is paying attention. That's why Saga Metals is helping Americans understand these defense sector opportunities before they hit the headlines. So make sure you take a look at the full briefing that's been prepared just for you. And we thank Saga Metals for supporting this show. Now here's what's really happening. Speaker Johnson just called this the third government shutdown in 100 days. 3 shutdowns. Democrats are so desperate to protect illegal immigrant voters that they're willing to shut down the very agency responsible for deporting them. Meanwhile, Trump's legal team is winning case after case, building an unstoppable deportation infrastructure. The optics could not be worse for the Democrats. Now, the press secretary discussing the nor'easter with respect to FEMA.
Working with state and local authorities, and they will continue. The Trump administration is on it. We know that FEMA is out on the ground working with state and local authorities, and they will continue to do so. Although it's very unfortunate, FEMA continues to be defunded right now because of Democrat politicians here in Congress. So if you're an American hurting and suffering from this storm, we suggest that you call your Democrat congressmen and women and senators and encourage them to reopen the Department of Homeland Security so that these great FEMA workers who are helping you turn your lights back on can get the paychecks that they deserve. But nevertheless, this important work will continue and will continue to be there for Americans who need help as the conditions get better.
This FEMA complaint is just the tip of the iceberg. DHS shutdown is hitting multiple agencies as we speak. The Department of Homeland Security reversed its decision to suspend TSA PreCheck during the partial government shutdown. Global entry remains suspended, according to CBS News, as the shutdown enters its second week.
For a lot of confusion this weekend, TSA PreCheck is open. DHS says global entry, that's expedited customs back into the U.S., will be suspended because of the government shutdown. Now, a lot of confusion about what happened. So let's just break this down real quick. On Saturday night, DHS came out and said it was going to suspend TSA PreCheck and global entry due to the government shutdown. There was a lot of pushback. That announcement came as a complete surprise to the aviation industry. Sunday, DHS reversed course, said TSA PreCheck would remain open for now, and any staffing shortages because of the shutdown would be addressed on a case-by-case basis. Sources told CBS News global entry would also reopen, and we understand that it did at some airports, but now DHS is saying definitively global entry, which is that expedited customs experience for pre-vetted flyers, will be suspended. What does that mean if you're on an international flight coming back into the U.S.? It means the likelihood the lines to clear customs will be longer for everyone. There is a mobile passport app you can download for your phone that may save you some time, but expect some delays at customs while this partial government shutdown continues. There does not appear to be an imminent compromise on Capitol Hill to fund DHS, which means the TSA workers, those customs officers at the airports, they're not sure when their next full paycheck will be. They should get a partial paycheck this week, and then after that, it's a waiting game until Congress makes a deal.
From weather disasters to airport security, watch how Republicans are now weaponizing TSA workers' paychecks in the standoff. Democrat members are getting paid, but they're withholding TSA workers' paychecks. Democrats in Congress have chosen not to fund DHS, which means that all of our TSA workers who show up today are not getting paid. Secretary Nome.
Hi, everybody. Christine Nome. I'm here at the Reagan International Airport, and I'm just dropping off my husband, who's headed back to South Dakota. But I wanted to talk to all of you about these TSA workers who are here today, not getting paid, but making sure that people can fly safely. Democrats in Congress have chosen not to fund the Department of Homeland Security, which means everybody here at our airports that works for TSA is not getting paid, but they're still showing up to work. It's been pretty hard on them financially. We're going to talk to a few of them about what this happens to their families, how they can't pay their bills when they still have to show up to work and they don't have money in their paychecks coming to pay their bills. So we'll chat with them. But if you see a TSO, an officer that's working security in an airport today, thank them. Thank them for putting your safety first and making sure that you can get home safely to your family.
Secretary Nome at Reagan Airport, the front line of the standoff. Speaker Johnson about to dial up the rhetoric even harder.
And I hope everybody will remember that tonight, even as we stand in the midst of yet another painful and unnecessary Democrat shutdown of the government. I mean, it's almost unbelievable to us. Not one, not two, but now 3 government shutdowns in just the last 100 days. What in the world are they thinking? This time they've taken hostage, as you know, the Department of Homeland Security. The department that is literally in its name, it's very indicative of its duties. It keeps Americans safe. And so funding for the agencies that protect our borders and mitigate disasters and help keep all of us able to walk down the streets without fear. That's the agency they've chosen to hold hostage. Well before the funding deadline, Republicans, as you know, worked in good faith to pass a year-long, full-year funding for DHS, and we did that through a bipartisan committee process. Democrats in both the House and the Senate negotiated on that. And now Democrats in both chambers have reneged on that bipartisan deal. Just 1 week into this, the consequences of Democrat shutdown are already painfully clear. Look at FEMA. Their operations are really important right now. If they haven't noticed, we have an historic season of winter storms slamming the East Coast, even as we speak in the northern parts. TSA is having to make difficult resource decisions, as you've seen, and agents working another week without pay. Some of those are high-stress positions. It's not right. It's not fair. The Secret Service, as you know, is charged among its other duties of protecting the president. And yet another armed attempt was made on his life just this weekend. This is not a game. I don't need to remind anybody. 2026 is an historic year for our country, and it'll be a great year of celebration. It'll be part of the big golden era, the 250th celebration, our birthday. But you're going to have, during the year, tens of millions of guests. We're hosting the FIFA World Cup in 11 cities around America. We have festivals and tournaments and so many highly attended, high-profile events around the country. Obviously, we need the protection of a fully funded Department of Homeland Security. We shouldn't even have to say that. This gambit that Democrats are involved in is as foolish as it is dangerous. They cannot hold up that critical funding any longer. There is planning that's required for these events. There's all sorts of logistics involved and personnel as well. And it's time for Democrats to do their job before they risk the literal lives of the American people any further.
They're playing a very dangerous game. Johnson's accusation is setting up a classic D.C. blame game, but here's what's actually happening on the ground. Republicans have accused Democrats of endangering public safety by withholding funding. Neither side looks likely to budge, but unlike last year's record 43-day shutdown, the standoff so far has led to little public outcry. So while politicians trade barbs, Trump scored a massive legal victory. It changes everything. D.C. Appeals Court sides with Trump, rules the IRS can share information on illegals with the Department of Homeland Security for deportations. This opens up a ton of new doors for DHS to speed up DHS deportations. Now, here is the White House. The State of the Union is strong because the border is the most secure in the history of our nation. Sleep well, America, because we're keeping America safe.
500,000 illegal immigrants leaving the U.S. over the past year, nearly 600,000 arrests, over 600,000 deportations, nearly 2 million voluntary self-deportations, and get this, 8 months of zero releases at the border.
President Trump's border policies are serving as a deterrent at the U.S. southern border as illegal crossings have hit another record low.
It is an undeniable fact that illegal crossings at the southern border have plummeted, a staggering decline.
ICE says they can finally do their jobs.
This is truly an extraordinary turnaround at the U.S.-Mexico border.
Because President Trump is sitting in the Oval Office, every American put their head on the pillow tonight, knowing that Border Patrol's on that border, stopping all threats coming across the most secure border in the history of this nation. ICE agents and FBI agents are working 24/7, 365, every hour of every day, taking public safety threats and national security threats off our streets. Sleep well, America, because we're keeping America safe. If you think we're doing good now, you just wait till this coming year.
I remember when they put those signs up at the White House like that. I was there that morning. It was quite a dramatic visual. And if you haven't done so yet, text raw feed to 844-840-4963 so you can get on our exclusive insiders list to get notified when we go live. Don't wait for YouTube to send you notifications. We've set up an entire system just for you so you don't miss anything. Continuing right along, Minnesota GOP lawmaker calling Democrats insurrectionists for blocking ICE. Democrats tried shutting down debate. He kept going.
Come to our state, it's an invasion, it's an occupation. People are being kidnapped, not detained, not arrested, kidnapped. Rhetoric like that, and the stance that your party has taken from top to bottom, from Governor Walz all the way down, that there is no legitimacy to federal authority is nothing less than insurrectionist rhetoric. And that is why, take your moment. I got mine. Take your moment to digest that. Look it up. The number of lawyers that are laughing at me right now. Do you understand how the Supremacy Clause works? Do you understand what insurrection is? It's the undermining of federal authority. January 6th, thank you so much for bringing that up. You guys went on and on and on about that for what, 4 years? Yeah, it's still celebrated as a holiday on your side of the aisle. One riot on one day. It's an attack on democracy. You ran an entire election on it. For months and weeks on end, we have had the top law enforcement officer in this state, the governor in this state, the mayor of Minneapolis, and many of you actively undermine federal authority when it comes to immigration law. And acting upon that rhetoric, people like Renee Good and people like Alex Preddy put themselves in harm's way. They did what you
Point of order, Madam Speaker. Point of order. Personality is not allowed in debate. We are not going to allow you. We are not going to allow you to impugn community members who have been murdered by the federal government. How dare you? That is shameful.
Wow. The rhetoric is escalating beyond politics. Local sheriffs are joining the attack with serious criminal allegations. Robert Milby, sheriff for Wayne County, New York, blasts Democrats who attack ICE and CBP.
And whenever I hear somebody talk negatively about border security, what I hear is somebody who's actually supporting sex trafficking, child exploitation, drug trafficking. There's so much more to the picture than's being touted out there. And I appreciate all the efforts that the president has put into the support of the northern border.
These criminal accusations are building towards Trump's biggest deportation win from the courts. Massive win. U.S. court rules in favor of President Trump and Secretary Bessent's IRS sharing data with DHS and ICE to speed up deportations. Let's go. Another victory. Nothing will slow us down. U.S. State Court of Appeals, United States Court of Appeals, President Trump scoring a massive legal victory. creating new flashpoints. And Miranda Devine says, Mika Brzezinski is such a terrible and ignorant person. Here's an exchange with the border czar, Tom Homan.
I see on the show this morning you have Governor Healy talking about ICE doing enforcement operations at a church. False. Didn't happen.
They were parked there. They did not do an operation there. She said they were parked in a public space legally.
But to say that and to push that out there puts fear in the immigrant community. So let me tell you what's happening.
To do that puts fear in the community. To park the ICE agent's vehicle
they're on a
near
public
a church.
street.
They are
on a public street.
She said
they're on a public street
sir.
waiting to respond to a criminal alien release pulled aside the road. Let me tell you, in the last couple of days, what's happened in Boston. They've arrested Victor Gomez Perez, a 33-year-old criminal alien from Guatemala, with charges of aggravated rape, assault and battery with dangerous weapon, indecent assault and battery on a victim 14 years or younger. They arrested Kaylee Espinosa, a 34-year-old criminal alien from Colombia, with charges of aggravated assault on a pregnant victim. They arrested Joshua Gonzalez, a 23-year-old criminal alien from Dominican Republic, with charges for trafficking heroin, morphine, opium, resisting police, disorderly conduct, and drug distribution. They also arrested Samuel Armando Barrera, a 20-year-old criminal illegal alien from Guatemala, pending charges for assault and battery on a child. So Mayor Wu and Governor Healy, they ought to be calling ICE and thanking them for making their streets safer, for protecting their communities and taking these people off the street. They've turned a blind eye to this. They're sanctuary cities. Sanctuaries, cities and sanctuary states are sanctuaries for criminals. Give ICE access to the jail to arrest a bad guy in the jail rather than have to go in the community to find them. Because when you go in the community and find them, it puts ICE officers at greater risk. It puts the community at greater risk. It puts the alien at greater risk because anything can happen on a street arrest. This is what we're trying to do. We're trying to prioritize public safety threats when you got governors and mayors who are releasing these public safety threats every day into the community. That causes the crime rate, and we've seen some terrible incidents in the last few days where innocent victims are murdered. This past year, I've seen innocent Americans raped and murdered by people who are not supposed to.
It just goes on. And of course, Mika Brzezinski getting called out to her face. Tom Homan directly confronting the media narrative, setting up potential credibility battles ahead. I see you on the show this morning. You have Governor Healy talking about ICE doing enforcement operations at a church. False, did not happen. The beautiful irony is unmistakable. Democrats shut down DHS to block ICE funding, thinking they're protecting illegal immigrant voters. But while DHS is shut down, the courts are handing Trump unprecedented tools to find and deport people faster than ever before. Tax records, employment data, financial information, it's all fair game now. Democrats just played themselves. You see, this is what winning looks like. While Democrats throw tantrums and shut down the government, Trump's agenda continues to move forward through the courts, through executive action, and through sheer political momentum. They can't stop what's coming. Every shutdown makes them look more desperate and out of touch. Every court victory makes Trump look inevitable. The American people see exactly what's happening here. Democrats care more about protecting illegal immigrants than protecting American citizens. Is this the hill Democrats really want to die on? You let me know. Check out the Next News merch shop for gear that shows you stand with America first, not America last. And there you have it, folks. Tonight we've witnessed the complete exposure of everything that's wrong with liberal America and everything that's right about the Trump agenda. From Democrats throwing tantrums over the State of the Union to violent cartels threatening Americans in Mexico, from Gavin Newsom's insulting condescension to snowball attacks on our brave police officers in New York, we're seeing the stark contrast between chaos and leadership. While Democrats boycott their constitutional duties and choose criminals over citizens, President Trump continues delivering wins for America. The Federal Appeals Court, that ruling, allowing IRS data sharing with ICE, is only the latest example of how Trump's policies are being vindicated at every turn. Democrats would rather shut down Homeland Security than protect Americans from illegal aliens, and that tells you everything you need to know about their priorities. What we're witnessing is not just political dysfunction. It's a systematic breakdown of liberal governance everywhere it's been tried. California releases child predators while Trump secures our borders. New York allows attacks on police while Trump backs law enforcement. Washington Democrats stage walkouts while Trump invites American heroes to the State of the Union. This brings us back to February 24th, 1868, when Andrew Johnson became the first president impeached by a vindictive Congress that couldn't accept the will of the people. Just like Johnson, Trump faced relentless persecution from political opponents who weaponized government against him. But here's the difference. Trump didn't just survive their attacks, he came back even stronger than ever. Now, history vindicated Andrew Johnson, showing his impeachment was nothing but partisan revenge. Today, history is vindicating Donald Trump as his policies succeed spectacularly, while his critics reveal themselves as petty, vindictive, and completely out of touch with American values. From Mexico to Manhattan, the world is learning that America is back under Trump's leadership. Our State Department working around the clock to protect Americans abroad, our courts upholding constitutional immigration enforcement, our president honoring hockey heroes, while Democrats honor no one but themselves. The mask isn't just completely off, it's been completely torn away. What we see underneath is a Democrat Party so consumed with hatred for Trump that they've abandoned their duty to America. They'll boycott presidential addresses, coddle criminals, insult voters, and attack people and police. Anything except serve the American people who pay their salaries. But Americans see through their games. We see Trump delivering on every promise while they deliver only excuses. We see strength versus weakness, leadership versus tantrums, America first versus America last. So before you go, hit the merch shelf below this video. Show your support for real journalism. Thanks to our Super Chat contributors and everyone sending in the Rumble rants. You guys make the show possible. The establishment tried to break Trump, and they failed miserably. Now they're breaking themselves while he rebuilds America. I'm Gary Franchi, and this has been The Raw Feed. Stay free.